run away.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Manny here once again. Welcome back to DFS Zone, your source for daily fantasy sport lineup advice for the NFL, NBA, and MLB. And before I continue on, I would appreciate a like on the video. And if you have not subscribed as of yet to the channel, please do so down below. And do not forget to turn on your notifications. This way you will not miss any of my new uploads. With that being said, today is Wednesday, May 16th, 2018. Another one-game slate on the association today. We have Golden State visiting Houston again. They're up 1-0. Should be another good offensive game. I'm hoping for it to be a little closer than the last one. And before I jump right into the actual game, the implied totals and so on and so forth, I just wanted to try to share with you guys always my recap with this 5-player lineup. Yesterday my lineups, I made 5 lineups again. I didn't cash on any of the 5 lineups. I was off the pace by 34 points, which is quite a bit. I finished with a 254.58. The top score was 288.60. I did stack up on Mr. James. I expected him to bounce back with a big game, which I, pretty much told you guys as well, and he did. Neutralized him a little bit. Definitely neutralized his teammates a little bit more, and that's one of the reasons why Boston is gonna, probably wrap up this series in about 5 or 6 games. I just can't see how Cleveland is gonna bounce back here with 5 games to go. They got to win 4. I don't know if they can do that. I really don't. So, this may be the year that LeBron does not get to the finals. But Boston's looking great. And the 5 guys I had in my lineup, I had James as the MVP. He put up 138 fantasy points in that position. Then I had in the star spot, I had Rozier, which I've been pulling for Rozier. I really, GPP, like I mentioned yesterday, guys, you got to take some risk. Sometimes you think about it at the very next day or later that night when you look over who won and what lineups they had. You start saying to yourself, why I didn't choose this guy or that guy. You can't second guess yourself. Rozier is bound to have a breakout game. I'm just really surprised that he hasn't had one yet. But I'll definitely swing for the fences with him again. Probably in game 3 as well. Maybe not in the star spot, maybe move him down to the pro spot, but we know he has tremendous upside, and unfortunately last night he just didn't get it done. He put up 39 in the star position, and that's pretty low. And then I had Jaylen Brown in the pro spot, and he put up 45.58 fantasy points. And then I had Mr. Baines in the utility at 7. He put up 17.7. Then I had Mr. Thompson. He put up 14.4. That was my best lineup. My second to best lineup had a 249 score, so I was definitely lower. And of course, I just went nuts with the GPP aspects of the actual lineup, and I mixed and matched quite a bit, but they just did not prevail last night. The 288.60, whoever won, well, it was a lot of people that won last night, that top spot. So unfortunately, they only won $938. I think there was over 80 people. Or over 70 people, something like that. Anyway, nonetheless, James 138. He was in the same spot at MVP. Then the winning lineup had Horford in the star position. He put up 67.5, and then in the pro spot had Mr. Smart, who actually outplayed and outscored Mr. Brown yesterday in the same spot as in the pro spot. He put up 51. And then the winning team, the winning lineup also had Baines and Thompson, just like me. So we actually had 3 of the 5. I had 3 of the 5. I had James, Baines, and Thompson, just like the winning lineup. The difference was they had Horford in the star spot, and I had Rozier in the star spot, and he outpointed me there. And then Smart in the pro spot, and I had Mr. Brown. So I mean, go figure. I went Rozier and Brown thinking they are more explosive, could have the tremendous upside. And then Mr. Steady Al, was steady as usual. Maybe it's time to put Al in one of the steady spots and make sure I get some points from him going into game 3. But anyway, that's pretty much it there. So not that good with the GPP play. I did do okay with a couple of cash games, so I made a little bit of money, but overall I still took a negative loss last night. But as you guys know, I preach, I basically play more GPPs than cash plays, so I have a tendency of gambling a little bit more. All right, let's dive into today's game. Golden State Houston. Implied totals for this game at the moment are Houston favorite by almost 3 points. I have them all with implied total of 113.2, Golden State 110.3, and best spot plays no different than the last game. The guys in the best possible position here for these games are, for Golden State, you have Mr. Durant. He's in the best spot here, as well as Mr. Curry and Mr. Thompson. Houston has had 10 big games given up to power forwards, and that's including the one they gave to Durant in the last game. And then, of course, they've given up 11 big games to point guards, and they've done that also with Curry. And they actually have given up 12 big games to shooting guard, and that also includes the last one that Klay Thompson just put. So they are definitely in good spots. This is a definitely good trio stacking here for Golden State. If you can get all three guys in, I really, really like that stack. Or you can go with the two guards. I think that would be a great stack as well, Curry, Thompson. And then when you look at Houston, their best possible plays are Chris Paul is definitely in a good spot. He has had good games against Golden State. And you know what? He's going to have a great game today. I know Houston does not want to lose 2 games to Golden State, especially 2 games at home. And Chris Paul, this is the first time he's actually even seen the Western Conference series, and he has a chance to go to the finals. You know he's going to want to ball out today. So I really like Chris Paul a lot today, and I think you definitely should have him in some of your lineups. And obviously I didn't have Harden at all, and he buried me in the last game, in game 1. So I think you definitely should have a little bit of Harden in there, and if you're going to do a stack, you definitely should consider Paul and Harden today. Both guys should be balling today for sure. Houston needs this win. And then if you want to go with a little bit of value, I definitely like P.J. Tucker, and I like Mr. Ariza for Houston. And, of course, you can never overlook Mr. Capella. So let's go to the cruncher, and I'll go over a couple of guys here quick. Now on the cruncher, I'm gonna put here all. Today's slate has 33 players in all. Obviously, I'm not looking to look at all 33 players. I've narrowed this down. My pool is down to 14 players. These are the guys right here, and they are Harden, Durant, Curry, Paul, Capella, Green, Thompson, Tucker, Gordon, Iguodala, Ariza, Loney, Baimute, and Livingston. These are the only guys that I believe everyone here who watches the channel, and you want to get my advice. My advice is just stick to making lineups within these 14 players. Now, this right now, I can tell you right now, out of these 14, I'm definitely going to be making my lineups with mostly about maybe 6 or 7 of these guys. But these are the ones that are going to be the best options for you guys. Now, I'm not going to go, just to make the video even quicker, because we're going to go through this one game slates often throughout this series, and it's going to be pretty much the same thing. We're going to still have the best plays, and we're going to still have the best stacks, and I think those are not going to hardly change in this series. It's just a matter of, making some lineups that will probably be, effective as far as giving you a chance to win the GPP. So, I mean, so let's dive into the point guards. Obviously, no different. There goes the 3 that I like, and those are the 3 guys you should consider. We don't need to go over numbers. Steph Curry is a great player. We know he's very good. He's in a good spot here. As I said before, he has a projection of 40, almost 45 points today, and I really like those projections. I believe he will put 45 or better today, and I also believe his counterpart Chris Paul is in a good spot here today, and I definitely think that you should consider Chris Paul as well. So if you could stack those 2 guys, that'll be great. But if I had a preference of one or the other, I'll probably be leaning towards Paul, because I know that Paul really needs to step up today, even though I believe Curry's going to have a big game as well. I would definitely go, if you had a choice here, if you're asking me of a choice, I would choose Chris Paul. Simply, he's at home, they're down 1-0, and it's a big game for them. They don't want to go down 2-love and then going over to Golden State. That's going to be very tough to come back from that. So Chris Paul is definitely the best play here at point guard today. A shooting guard, you got Harden. As a matter of fact, we just go to Fanduel. We don't even have to look at that. Well, they don't have the breakdown here, but a shooting guard, sorry about it, we'll go right back to Fantasy Cruncher. So yeah, the 3 guys that I'm looking at here are Harden, Thompson, and Gordon. I love Harden here. I didn't play him in game 1. hey, you got to play him today. If you could squeeze him in there with Chris Paul, you know, that is not a bad stack at all whatsoever. And put them up there in the top MVP and in the star slot. I think that will work. And then you definitely should try to squeeze in a Mr. Klay Thompson somewhere, because Klay had a beautiful game the other night. He looked fantastic, and I expect him to do no different. He's really been playing really good basketball the last few games, and the last game he was just, terrific. I think he is definitely a fine play today. Definitely somebody I really, really like today as well. Eric Gordon, I'm not too much on him, but he is a definite play. His value is going to be what? Gordon is 9,000, so this is like the lower end of the spectrum here. So if you're looking for those lower tier value plays, I mean, Gordon, of course, Tucker, so on and so forth. Small forward, definitely Durant had an enormously beautiful game the other day. They're projecting him to put about 47 today. I think he's going to be in that ballpark. Plain and simple, this is, if you want to find some studs here today, you definitely need to find 2 or 3 of them that you could put in here, and then just get those 2 role players at the bottom in the utility, and hopefully you can pull out this GPP, because Durant should have an explosive game. He's going to want to go crazy here today, just like he did the other night, take over the game, be the star. And that Harden is going to try to come back and just try to really outscore him. So it's going to be, I mean, I look forward to this game tonight. This is going to be definitely a high-scoring game. I see it being close to in the 115s to 120s, tonight. So definitely a lot of scoring tonight. I won't even be surprised the winning lineup is a 300 score tonight with just 5 players. So that's how crazy it may be. All right, so P.J. Tucker, in line here for Houston, definitely in play. PJ Tucker, hey, out of all the guys between him and Ariza, obviously he's been getting a lot of minutes, as you can see here. His minutes are very, very high, and that's important. Like I've always said before in my videos, I like when it comes to the NBA, I want to see guys on the floor. He definitely gets a lot of time on the floor, so he's definitely someone to consider here. He didn't get a whole lot of touches in the last game. He wasn't much in the offense, but if they can get him freed up, especially in the wings, especially in the baseline where he likes to hit those threes, if they could spread this out a little bit, this offense a little bit here on the floor, it will help PJ Tucker. And PJ Tucker will get some shots off and get his confidence going, and he can easily give you 30 plus in that spot of only $9,000. He's only 9,000. So definitely someone that you should pencil in on your lower tier guys. Iguodala, definitely another one. Didn't get a whole lot of shots the other day either. I think he only scored 3 or 4 points or something like that. Or he took 3 shots, excuse me, not 3 or 4 points, 3 shots he took. Yeah, he only took 3 shots up. He got to the foul line, man. Surprisingly, he missed 6. Did he miss 6 free throws? No, I'm sorry. That's my fault. He didn't miss the free throws. He was 7 of 8 there. Sorry. My mistake there. It was somebody else I'm thinking of. But he had no offensive rebounds, 4 defensive rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 2 turnovers. He did get a little bit of foul trouble, but then, he wasn't very much involved in the game offensively. He needs to take more shots. I mean, 3 shots for Iguodala is a little too, not enough from him. We definitely need him to be in that 6 to 7 range or better, and we'll see better numbers there. I think he's a fine play as a value play as well. I don't know. Let me look over here and see what his price is for Iguodala. Iguodala is 8,500, so he's 500 less than Tucker, and I think he and Tucker are both fine plays. Ariza, definitely someone you can consider. He really hasn't played well. I mean, his minutes have been diminished a little bit. As you can see, 23 in the last game. It was definitely not a good game for Houston. They were always pretty much behind throughout the game, so that didn't help him. But he did get 8 shots off. It was 3 of 8 and 1 of 5 from the floor, so he really wasn't shooting that well from the floor at all. He only got 23 minutes, but he's only been putting 12, 12, 10. I mean, these are really poor numbers for Trevor Ariza. He's had 5 out of his last 6 games. He has not hit value, so I obviously, if you're gonna leave me to give you a value play, I would definitely go with PJ Tucker, and my second choice would be Iguodala. And I had Iguodala the other day. He put up 21 fantasy points, and that's with only just 3 shots from the floor. So I mean, he gives you value somewhere else, and that's what's important. Power forward, Draymond Green. Aloni and Bayamute. I like Bayamute, because he does get time on the floor. He only has 17 minutes in the first game. He's been averaging about maybe 18 to 19. But if he can get over 20 minutes, and let's see what his price is. His price is 65, so yeah, definitely I'm gonna squeeze him in on a couple of lineups. I mean, he is at the lower end. I mean, the lowest you can go here is $6,000, and he's at 65. So I mean, yeah, I like him as one of those utility players. So definitely buy Mute. I like him more than Loney. Loney, let's see, he played 25 minutes, only took one shot, just didn't do a whole lot. 25 minutes is very good for Kevin Loney. And that's just not enough. You got to be able to put it. When we're looking for fantasy plays, like I said before, if anybody's been watching me long enough, I always say that you want to get guys that for every minute they're on the floor, they get you somewhere, or they have to be scrappy and be able to do other things to bring fantasy points to the table, because we don't care about him scoring 25 points from the floor if he's not doing all the other little things like passing the ball, getting rebounds, maybe blocking some shots, getting some steals. If that individual is not doing that, then you're not going to gain much fantasy points out of him having a 25-point game from the floor. So that's important. So here, only one shot. He did get 4 rebounds. That helped. That's how he got up to 10 fantasy points. But we need him to be able to do more than that. He needs to rebound more, obviously, like he's done in the past, as you can see here. And he needs to obviously try to get some steals. He does get a steal pretty much on average every game throughout the last 6-7 playoff games. So I like him, but I am not, I'm not crazy about him. I prefer Bayamute. He seems to be a little bit more of an integral part of the offense in Houston when he is shooting well. They do feed him the ball. He does get some open looks. He did miss a lot of shots the other day, but I would still pay for Bayamute here as a value play. Center, basically Capella is the only guy I got there, and he will be in some of my lineups. And I do recommend you find some space to put him in 1 or 2 lineups, or have him as a triple stack. It's going to be very tough, but I'm sure we're going to go to it right now. Matter of fact, let's just go and dive in so we can get rocking and rolling here. Let's pencil. Let's go with a Houston stack right away. Let's just to see. So we got Harden. Let's go to the star. Star play, we got to go someone a little bit mid-price. We could go Capella there at 13.5. All right, and that leaves us with 9,600. So we don't know if we can get Paul unless we just cross out Capella and let's just shoot for the 2 main studs of Houston, and that's Harden and Paul. Now we got 9,300. We could come down and try to squeeze ourselves someone like Klay Thompson at 10.5, and now we're pretty good. 8,700, you could squeeze in there if you want to. I don't need to finish it off, but I could just give you ideas. You could finish it off with 8,700. You can get PJ Tucker and Iguodala. Okay, you completely use all your money, which is quite all right, because again, like I said, it's all about where you situate these guys. You could have these same 5 guys, but you could have Klay up here and Harden down here, and you're gonna definitely have less points. So I mean, this is why this format is not that bad. It gives people a better chance to create a lineup that is slightly different from someone else. So that but there you go. You got a stack there of Harden and Paul, and then you bring in there Tucker, and you bring in 2 Golden State Warriors guys that can be dangerous. Klay Thompson, definitely an integral part of the offense, and then you have Iguodala, that if he is on and he's doing all the right things, he can get you that added fantasy points. He's not going to score a ton of points, but he does all the other things like rebound, steals, and that's where you gain the fantasy points at. So sometimes you have to look for those kind of players. All right, let's wipe this out. Let's do now Golden State stack. Real quickly, MVP stat, obviously go with Kevin Durant, and then let's do a double up between him and Curry. And now you got still 9,300. We go to the pro, and we'll squeeze in Klay as well. Okay, so now you got three monster offensive players for Golden State. All right, now it's a matter of who you choose in the utility with $8,700 left, and again, you can go all the way to Iguodala. Now you got 4 Golden State Warriors. That means that the last $9,000 has got to go towards a Houston Rockets. So you could choose Gordon here or Tucker. Gordon has a tendency of scoring a little bit more. We'll click on him here and let's see what he did in the last game. 33 minutes, he put 21.5 fantasy points. And then you had Tucker. He played 34 minutes. He put 15. So, I mean, but he has put up 37 and 23 and 30. So he's been at 24 plus 3 out of the last 4 games. So, you know, I will lean maybe towards Tucker. And there you got another lineup there. You got Durant, Curry, Thompson, Iguodala, and Tucker and PJ Tucker. I mean, you could do that. Or again, you can you could go with not with Looney. You can go with Ariza. You could switch that up and go with Gordon. So you got 3 possible plays there. Then you can also just figure, hey, maybe Durant is not the one who's going to get the big game today. Let's try to get 2 guys from 2 let's try to go with the 2 guards. Let's say Chris Paul with the big, I don't want him there. MVP stat. We'll put Paul there, and let's say we go with Steph Curry there. All right. Now you still got 10 left. Let's go to pro, and let's get a Draymond Green, because Draymond Green is not going to be held back forever. You know, I had him. Like I said to you guys, I had him highly in my lineups. I had him in my MVP spot in pretty much 4 out of my 5 lineups in the last game, and he obviously didn't perform. He got into foul trouble, and you know, that's it. You know, when he gets into foul trouble, he's not on the floor. He's not getting those minutes on the floor like Norm, and at the same time, he's not getting in rhythm with the team. And this guy is like the kind of guy that when he's not fouling and he's doing all the right things, I mean, he is doing everything. He could gain you a lot of fantasy points. So I definitely still love Draymond Green, even today, even though he had that rough game the other night. So we got $8,700 here left. Now we got to try to be a little different. So we do have Paul, Curry, and Green here. 3 very good offensive guys that can get you fantasy points and more than just scoring. And then we can just finish this off with, I don't know, utility. Let's go. I still like Tucker. And then you got 8,500. You can go Ariza, Loney, or you can even go further down and do Bayamute. Let's go Bayamute. That's going to buy us a little bit of money. And now we got 11 grand. Let's go back here. If there's anything here, then look at that. You can get Klay Thompson in here as well. So you get, I like that. You see, sometimes you just got to throw this around a little bit. And this is the way I would do it. After I'm done here, I'm going to be moving things around and trying to see which are the best possible offensive fantasy building lineups I could possibly put together. So here, definitely, that looks pretty good with Paul, Curry, Green, Klay Thompson, and Bayamute as the value play and the sleeper. Okay, so you get 4 very good offensive players. They're all capable of putting 40, 45 fantasy points plus. So that's what I like there. All right, so definitely someone, I like this lineup. I'm more than likely going to play this one. Hey, anybody likes this one and you're going to play it, or you're thinking about playing it, hey, man, shoot down a comment down below. Let me know that you're going to do the Paul, Curry, Green, Thompson, Bayamute play. Maybe we can just be tied for first and split the GPP. I don't mind. All right. Other than that, we can go back. Let's try another stack. We'll do one more round of stacks. Let's go with a Golden State stack. Let's do Durant. Let's do Green and Thompson. All right. Last time I did Durant, I did Klay Thompson with Curry. Now we're thinking about Green. Remember, Green is triple, double written almost any given day, any given game. So definitely consider Draymond Green. Then your utility, you still got 10. You could come in here and you can get, I don't know, let's see how much I have. I get Capella. Yeah, I can get Capella here, who's solid at 13.5. I still have 7,000, and then I can go and get Bayamute or Gerald Green. I don't see Gerald Green getting more minutes than Bayamute. So, and there you go. You got 3 Golden State Warriors. You got the 3-2 stack, 3 Golden State, 2 Houston. You know, so stuff like that, guys. So I gave you 4 or 5 lineups. I know that my videos have been always long, and I'm trying to make them as quick as I can. But you know, just to give you ideas, so stuff like this is what you got to concentrate on. Definitely concentrate on stacking Durant with one of the other key guys, either Klay or Steph Curry. I would be in favor of stacking Klay with Klay with Curry, and I wouldn't even mind stacking Durant with Green and not using Curry or Thompson. And then when it comes to Houston, definitely the best stacks, I've been telling you that throughout the whole playoffs, is Harden with Capella or Harden Paul or Harden, Paul, Capella as a triple stack. You know, I would think those three guys would work well. You could always say, hey, I'm going to just go Harden, Paul, not Capella, and you can do Bayamute as a value play, or you can go to P.J. Tucker or Eric Gordon. And my preference would probably be P.J. Tucker and Bayamute, not so much Gordon. But, you know, that's just my thought on that. I mean, Gordon is definitely someone in play. Remember, this is the playoffs. All these guys that get playing time on the floor are all in play here. The key here is finding the 5 guys that you could put together that could possibly not only get you average of what they've been averaging throughout the playoffs, but can exceed and have that upside to be able to get you maybe 10, 15, 20 more fantasy points where they can have an explosive kind of game. And that's the trying to line. Those are the lineups I'm trying to take a risk on every single day. So I know I'm not going to hit every day, but hopefully before these playoffs are over, maybe I'll hit one, you know. So that's what I'll be shooting for, and I think that's what you guys should be doing as well. So that's pretty much it. So again, best plays: Durant for Golden State, Curry, Thompson. Okay, and if you needed to go anybody lower, Iguodala is a good spot, or Draymond Green. With Houston, you definitely got to have some Harden in your lineups, or a Paul, Capella, and then the value guys will be P.J. Tucker or Mr. Gordon or Bayamute. That's what I think. I think those are the 5 or 6 guys I'm concentrating on, and when it comes to Golden State, I'm only really looking at 6 guys as well, and that's Durant, Green, Thompson, Curry, Iguodala, and others. Basically, that's 5. So those 5 guys are the ones I'm really concentrating on, you know, when it comes to Golden State. All right, guys, man, so that's pretty much it. I wanted to draw you up a couple of things. You know, you take it from there. You do what you think is best. But if anybody likes any of these lineups that we created here, just let me know, man. Comment down below to let me know that you're going to try one of them. And then if you do that, then what I'll do is I'll buy into one as well. And maybe, who knows, maybe we'll be able to talk on here tomorrow and say, hey, you know, we just split, you know, the GPP top prize. That'll be super awesome. All right. With that being said, that is pretty much it, man. Please, guys, drop a like on the video. Of course, if you have not subscribed, please do so below. It's right on your right-hand corner of your screen of the actual video. And again, comment anything down below. If you're choosing any one of these lineups, I would appreciate you commenting and saying, hey, you like a specific lineup. I would definitely want to interact more with my community here on DFS Zone. And other than that, good luck tonight and enjoy the game, and God bless. And of course, like always, I am out.